All right. Well, it's great to meet you, Kierstyn.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm a nurse. I understand you're a nurse too. Is that
I
right?
am.
Tell
Yes.
me about what you do.
I work at the University of Michigan at the Cancer Center doing outpatient chemo infusion.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
So this is a long way to drive then from Michigan for surgery.
it is. Yeah, I just went to my primary care yesterday and she said, why are you going all the way to Cincinnati?
About that, like, how did you choose Dr. Mendelsohn?
My friend had done some research on different plastic surgeons and had found him and had heard good things. And so when he came down, I came down with him to meet Dr. Mendelsohn and just loved his personality, felt really comfortable. He made me really excited to go through this process with him. I really felt like it was a good fit, and I did end up having another consult up here at Michigan since it's so much closer and I work there, so I figured I needed to do my due diligence and have a second consult, but after meeting with them, I just didn't quite feel the same way as I had felt after I left the office with John, so I felt like I knew in my heart that this is where I wanted to go.
That's great. So is Nate now bringing you back down for surgery? Is he returning the favor for you?
No, I think my mom is going to bring me down.
Okay.
And my family doesn't know that Nate had surgery there when we were there together. I told them I was just coming down for the consult because he's a little more private than I am. So, but so he had volunteered to come down if I needed him to, but my mom is pretty insistent on being the one that is there with me. So
Yes, the mother in her, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So tell me when and why you decided to have a rhinoplasty. Like, how long have you been thinking about this?
So I think I was probably in my teenage years when I started thinking about it a little bit, or just noticing things about my nose that I didn't love. Initially, I felt a little bit of guilt because I felt like, well, that's how I was born. My parents made me this way. I should be grateful for the way that I look. I don't look bad. But kind of just over the years, I continued to look at it and have it bother me. I noticed that in pictures more and more from the side, it really bothered me. And I ended up talking to my mom about it a little bit. She actually had a rhinoplasty when she was younger. And so she was always very supportive and said, if you really feel like it's something that you want to do, then, we support you. And so that was nice to hear. And I just was very cautious. I had my first consult for rhinoplasty a long time, probably 10 years ago, and didn't leave that doctor's office feeling that comfortable or that ready financially to do anything, and still kind of felt some of that guilt with, was I making the right decision? Was I going to regret it later? And it wasn't until more recently that the last few years, that I was really sure that it was something that I wanted to do. I had talked to I have another really close friend who had a rhinoplasty when she was 18, actually. She says she has no regrets ever. She would do it again in a heartbeat. So yeah, I think once I met with Dr. Mendelsohn, one of the reasons that I really, really loved him is that the two other consults that I had done, I felt like those surgeons pointed out things with my nose that they didn't like, or that they thought that they could fix. And they were things that I hadn't even noticed. And when John and I met, the first thing that he asked me was, what did I not like and what did I want fixed and how did I want my nose to look? And it was really important to me to have my nose not necessarily be the perfect nose that somebody else thinks should be on my face, but a nose that is still mine, just improved. And I really felt like he was very supportive of that, and that was his goal as well. So I felt like we were on the same page, and I really just, it was a combination of me being ready, me being financially ready, emotionally ready, and then finding a really good fit that made me feel like this was the right time.
Mm-hmm. Good. Can I see you from the side?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So not terrible. Just I feel like it doesn't. I'm a small person. I feel like it doesn't quite fit my face.
Did you inherit your nose from your mother? You said she had a rhinoplasty.
I do think my nose is from my mom. Although hers is still very different than mine, but my nose looks like her mom's nose. My grandmother, and my grandmother had mentioned throughout her life that she had wished that she had done something and she never did, and she had kind of said that it was a regret of hers that she hadn't done it when she could. And our noses, oh sorry, my dad's calling me, of course. Our noses are pretty much the same. So I kind of, as she got older, got to see a glimpse of what mine might look like when I'm older, and that also helped with my decision. So
you know that you're having this done?
So she recently passed away, and one of my parents got a little inheritance from her, and it's kind of their gift and her gift from beyond. They're helping me financially to actually do it. So they feel like she would want me to get it done, and they're very supportive. So they're helping me out a little bit.
Good. What do you think she'd say if she knew you were signed up and ready to go with a rhinoplasty?
I think she'd be happy. Everyone in my family is supportive, but also tells me how beautiful they think that I already am, that they don't think I have to fix anything. But if it's something that I want to do, then they're very supportive of it. So I think she would have kind of the same reservations that anyone has going into it. I'm excited, but it's a nervous excitement. I've had this nose for almost 37 years. And so I'm excited to see what it's gonna be like. I have visions in my head of what it will look like, but it's still
that. I want to jot some notes down. During surgery, Dr. Mendelsohn likes to consult with the rest of us in the room. And if we each had a chance to talk with you, we can all contribute to the conversation and talk about, yes, this is what she wanted, a little more here, a little less there.
Right.
He really wants to make sure to get it right for you. So
yeah.
If you could just please tell me a few things that you would like changed.
Sure. So from the front, it doesn't bother me that much, except for that I've never had a very defined tip. It's just been described more as like a bulbousy sort of tip. And I don't want a pointy nose, but it would be nice to have a little bit more definition in the tip of my nose. And then from the side, I've always disliked how my nose kind of gets pushed down from the side and seems to project out a little bit further than I would like. We talked about bringing the bridge of my nose down a little bit so that it can bring the tip up just slightly, so that the top and the tip of my nose kind of match up a little bit more in a straight line rather than this kind of curve down that I have. Sure. My first consult, the surgeon described it as a hook nose. So I don't want a hook nose anymore. I don't necessarily mind the width of my nose, although it is a little bit probably wide for my face. Like I said, I'm a small person. I just want kind of a little bit more of a petite feminine nose for my face. Okay. But I still want it to look, like I said, look like me, just a slightly smaller, better version of my nose.
Yeah. I think that over time, you look at yourself in pictures and in the mirror, and what you see and how you react to yourself becomes how you feel about yourself. Mm-hmm. And, if you can do something to improve what you see, it's going to, in the end, improve how you feel about yourself. So I think
Definitely.
that's a very good decision.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Glad to excited too for you. That's wonderful. Yeah. So your grandma must have left an impression on you if you decided that you didn't want to follow in her footsteps and wait your entire lifetime and then have regrets at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, decided to take matters into your hands and do something about it at a younger age.
Yeah. And I definitely waited. I mean, I took a long time to decide to make sure that I didn't want to have regrets the other way. I didn't want to jump into it and have it done and then all of a sudden say, oh, what did I do? I should have kept it how it was. So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a phase that I, was kind of going through, and that over time it was still something that I really was interested in. And it has been. It's kind of been in the back of my mind for the last 10 or 15 years, just thinking about it, always noticing it in pictures and always feeling like it doesn't quite fit. And so I was just kind of lucky that the stars kind of aligned
Yes.
all at once.
Yes, and that you found Dr. Mendelsohn. That's great.
Yeah, it was actually very strange. I know Nate doesn't want his name on, my friend doesn't want his name on things, but we were talking on the phone one night, and I really, really was thinking about, this is something that I wanted to get done. And he's one of my best friends, but I had never talked to him about it. And I said to him, oh, I hope you don't think that this is really weird, but I want to tell you something. And he said, what? And I said, well, lately, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I really, really want to get my nose done. And he was silent, and I thought he was just like thinking of something to say. And he said, I cannot believe you just brought that up. And I said, why? And he said, because I just booked a consult with a plastic surgeon down in Cincinnati that I read about and heard great things about. And he said, because he was interested in getting his done. So I was like, what? How? We've never talked about this before, but it just happened to be literally the same day that we both brought it up. And I felt like it was fate.
Yes, absolutely. He had a rhinoplasty too?
He did, yep. He had a deviated septum that he wanted fixed as well. So, yep, he had both those things done.
Happy with his results?
What was that?
Is he happy with his results?
He is. He's a very picky person, but we talk about it almost every day. He's getting more and more definition in the end of his nose, which originally was one of the things that he was unsure about because he had a lot of swelling afterwards. But he likes it. I think it looks great. I tell him all the time that it looks great. I think when you are used to seeing yourself in the mirror, and even if it's something that you don't always like seeing, I think when it's something new, it's really hard to adjust. It's like when somebody loses a ton of weight, and even though they like that they lost the weight, they still feel really weird in their body. So I think it's just, it takes some time to adjust to. And, but yeah, he does like it. I really like it. So I told him it doesn't matter.
Yes.
I think it looks great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you chose to come down here, and it'll be fun to meet you in person.
Yes, you as well, Gretchen.
Let's move on now and start talking about some instructions, how to prepare for surgery, and then I'll give you an idea of what you might expect the day of surgery, and then go over a few post-op instructions as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Ask questions along the way if you have any.
All right.
Okay.